We're continuing to talk about the healing that God has for all of us when we've faced rejection and how all of us do face rejection. And yeah, it's very true that we handle it in different ways and that some are more sensitive to it than others. But there will come a time when there will be a specific rejection, if not a lot of rejection, that will do some real damage. And so I think it's so helpful to know how to deal with it and to realize, and that's where we want to start by talking here, is that rejection is so rampant in our society now that you are not unusual because you're dealing with this. You're not weak because you're dealing with this. And when you look at where we are right now, social media, all those new places that we can be harshly rejected, and I think people feel there's a safety behind this wall of you don't even have to see my face when I can say certain things. And then it's also just a society of people who are hurting. Yeah. And therefore, it comes out in ways where we hurt one another. Right. So to know that rejection is not just in our heads, that it is real and it's serious and it's okay to be hurt by it, but don't live in that, don't be caught in it, is really important. So what do you guys think about that today? Why is rejection such a problem in our lives and in society?
I think kind of like you said, how, there is so much stuff online. There is so much, it's just temporary. There are people that view each other as disposable almost. It's like, well, if I get rid of this person, I can just go find another friend. If I get rid of this relationship, I can just go get another one.
Wow.
And it's almost like they've become, they just go through life like that it's almost easier to just reject people and almost like reject before you get rejected, just because it's like, well, it's just easier to go get another one. I'll just go get more followers. I'll go get more friends. I'll go get another marriage. And I think unfortunately, it's just become easy for people to view others as disposable, that it's basically made this an epidemic.
Yeah.
I think also, you guys talk about this later in the book, that you say if you reject yourself, you're going to reject others. And that really spoke to me, because I know I can keep people at a distance. And I think that's part of why rejection is so prevalent.
Yeah.
People are so busy protecting themselves. Like I'm saying, no one's getting close.
Yeah.
Not to point at you gentlemen, but I learned early on the damage to families, broken homes, divorces, and the increase of that, the fatherless homes and children coming up and not having dads. I think that that eroded at our foundation of society and acceptance.
It definitely has a huge part to play in all this, doesn't it? A lot of children growing up feeling rejected and therefore sharing that with many others along the way.
Yeah. If my parents don't want me, why is anybody else going to want me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was fascinated when I started doing research on this and saw the physical implications of rejection on your body as well. Because it isn't just about, I got my feelings hurt. The pain of rejection when they do scans, they say are very similar to the pain of having a broken bone, like breaking your arm. And your brain responds in very much the same way. So when you hear that, what do you think? Because to me, that was a bit of a eye opener. It was just, this is real and we need to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, right then when you said that, I thought about the thing you said as a kid: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But in reality, it's the same damage. The impact on your body is having the same effect. The impact on your mind, your emotions, the things that you're taking in, the filter that you're now seeing things through, where hurt people. Your words hurt as much as sticks and stones, because it's breaking my spirit. It's breaking who I am. It's disconnecting this, who God says I am. It's broken and it's severed until we come to the knowledge of Christ, until we are reassured that, no, Christ sees you this way. Christ has done this for you so that you can remain in connection with the Father, to where those sticks and stones and words and those forms of rejection that we face don't have the same impact. Because, and actually earlier in this session where we were talking, and I think your question was like, how do we going to the Father and saying, is any of this true about me? Yeah. When someone has said something to me, whether in person or online, you know, there's slander online, God, what do you say? Is this true about me? And if it's not, then letting it go.
Yeah.
You know, if someone rejects your message after service, okay, God, is any of this true? Because I think that's important too. Is any of this true?
Yeah, what do we need to learn from it?
Right, I do. I want to grow. So tell me the things. But if it's not what you say, if it doesn't line up with truth and your character and how you see me, then I don't want to carry that, but I do want to grow.
Yeah. It's easy to let rejection seem like it's the norm in our life when it should be the exception. So we need to begin not accepting the rejection, or like you said, asking those questions. What do I toss aside and what do I learn from? So that the normal thing, which is rejection in our world, does not become the norm that we expect in our lives. Adelaide, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that have come up in you as you've been reading through this?
I think hearing, like, even when you were talking about the medical scan of how rejection affects our body, that's really validating to hear, because I feel growing up, I've kind of been on the side of when people do reject me, I'm more concerned about them, like kind of out of balance, being like something's definitely wrong with them, to the point where I've neglected recognizing that, yeah, that did hurt me, that did affect me, and I do need to deal with it. And like it's good to hear validation of, yeah, it does affect you. And also when you sit there and you wonder, it's like, am I blowing this out of proportion? And you think, am I crazy? Does it mean this much? Like, yes, it does. And it is heavy and it is hard.
It does give you some peace. You know, I'm not going insane. You know, we have to face that it hurts in order to allow God to heal us, because otherwise it's either the shoving down or the thinking there's just something wrong with me. And there's a lot to be learned by, okay, God, take this and help me to know how to respond and do what you want with it, but don't let me just steep in it for years and years.
And there's such freedom in that. You know, you feel like a weight has been lifted off when you're free of that. You don't realize how you carry that. Freedom is good.
It is good. There's a lot of hope in that. Joyce said that God loves to use the people that the world rejects. And I think there's such hope and freedom in that. It's not, okay, God can't use me because nobody loves me right now, or I was rejected because of this reason. No, God says there's something in you that I really want to use in spite of this, or through this, or because of this even.
Yes.
That's a great aspect of hope.
Yes, it is.
What other, as Joyce wrote about hope, what were some other things that you guys thought, wow, that does make me feel, there is hope for me?
Just in general, the hope keeps me moving forward into healing, because a lot of times the healing hurts.
Yeah.
As you look at all this stuff, so the hope that of God wanting to heal me and use it to help other people is what keeps me moving forward into that pain of healing.
Yeah.
I feel the Lord, for me, it's kind of like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being just a little rejection, but a 10 being very severe. And even having that hope of, like, God will identify that for me. If it's a 1, maybe it affected me emotionally, and he will heal me and walk me through that. But some of them are so severe, it's really trauma. And so spiritually it affects me, emotionally it affects me, and physically it affects me. And he'll walk me through that. And it's like, your heart needs to be healed, but your emotions need to be healed. And then physically, like you said, it really takes a toll on you. and always having that hope that God knows that, and He knows all the healing that I need.
Yeah. Well, Joyce talked about being rooted in rejection because she had it so early on from her life. I talked about being shaped by rejection because it impacted me later in life, but definitely changed my outlook on everything. In what ways have any of you been rooted or shaped by rejection?
I think I didn't even realize, because I didn't have this traumatic, obvious type of rejection. It was more of neglect and just being ignored, never seen, never heard, not being important. You know, a wallflower. I've said so many times, like I grew up as a wallflower, and as an adult, incorporating this physical effect, I was diagnosed with a couple different autoimmunes, all from inflammation. And she says right here in the book that rejection triggers inflammation in the body. That's a physical, that's an actual medical response.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think, reading this book brought out things like we think, oh yeah, we're good. I'm doing this for other people. I could see how my mother, my most favorite idolized person in the whole world, I wasn't important to her. She would say I was her right hand, but it was that whole performance acceptance that I grew up in, that perfectionism that I was needed but not wanted. So I was always there as a service. So it, this stirred up a lot of things you didn't even realize, and I can attest to the physical effects of it. It's real.
Some of the things that come out of all of that are, and we've touched on some of these, but guilt, or shame that we take on when others reject us, anger. What are some of those things, or what would you have to say about dealing with those issues in your own lives?
I dealt with that with a friendship of mine where I just felt betrayed. I felt like I wasn't important enough, even though I had poured so much into that relationship. And I've had a few of those where, you and Joyce mentioned on here, certain friendships are for a season, and I can't remember all the other
Reason.
A reason, a season, and a lifetime, right?
Lifetime.
That's what it was, yeah. And I've had a few of those that were more like lessons, where I thought I had a friendship of about 5 years, and this person chose, because of shame, chose to walk away from my life or just never talk to me again. And
That hurts.
it was very painful.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to react to it. So I had to go to God for that. But same thing, I thought, well, this book, I've been working for years on myself. I've read so many books. Maybe this book is going to be for other people. But it was also for me to deal with even though you can work for years in your heart and your mind and try to be the best you can still experience rejection, and it's how you react to it and not taking things personal. I've had to be very, very strong in that I need to. Even my husband's a great reminding me, are you taking this personal?
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, you don't tell me. But husbands are great at being that mirror for us, right? Aren't they? It's amazing. I love my husband, David. If he gets to watch this, he can, know that. But I had to learn to not take it personal, and it was very painful. But I'm thankful for this book to remind me that I don't have to live in that, and I don't have to even hate or have anger towards that person, because it's not about me. they also have their own issues.
Right.
And like we talked in the beginning about how Jesus was rejected. Who am I to think I'm so high and up that no one's going to reject me? Jesus was rejected. I'm way less than Jesus, and so it's okay, and I can still love people. I can still have friendships and not be afraid to be rejected, even though I will be at some point again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
It's amazing to me how much we give ourselves in friendship. I mean, family, the closest people to us are the ones that can hurt us the most, but friends are right there with family. We have friends who become family in our lives, and we give so much of ourselves. So when someone walks away or where there's some sort of a breach in that relationship, wow, that's a really hard thing to deal with. And that's where some of that guilt and shame and anger comes up too.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say anger was a huge one for me to deal with when my marriage ended. I mean, because one of the last things she said to me was, I can't be happy with you. So it was very specific.
Yeah.
And angry at God. Mm-hmm. God, I thought this was the one you gave to me and all that type of stuff, And not right before, but some years before, God had been dealing with me about stuffing things down and hardening my heart. And he had broke it up and softened it a lot. And I'm angry at God one night with my marriage, and I'm like, you do all this stuff to make me feel, and then this happens. Yeah. And I just felt like he said to my heart, now you can deal with it. So it was a good thing for him to do that. And it was like, it's okay to be angry right now. Mm-hmm. Don't let the anger control you. Deal with it. Mm-hmm. Feel it.
I also had a lack of self-confidence. I felt like both of my husbands just threw me away, like I wasn't worthy of anything. So that has been a base for jobs, whatever, and I didn't really realize it. But, and I knew God loved me, but I felt, like I said, like I disappointed him. And I'm not worthy of that, So that's a whole process. You have to relearn everything. Yeah. Relearning. But the self-confidence was very lacking in my life.
I think as far as anger goes, it always came up at the inopportune time and in an unrelated situation. And it took a while for me to figure out where the anger was really coming from. And then I could address the situations where it was coming out and it shouldn't have been coming out. I needed to process it where it belonged.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because we tend to think we can silo our emotions or our responses, and something that starts over here is going to impact this other area of our life as well. And so that's why allowing God to do this healing in us in every aspect is so important, because we can kind of try to hold something back. Say, I don't want to deal with this one. And it's going to seep in. That anger is going to come out in another place. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about. So we're going to end it for now, but we're going to talk again soon, okay?